Hello, everybody. Welcome to Math Lesson 3.3, Solving More Division Problems. Today we're going to continue looking at the relationship between multiplication and division, but we're going to be using this as more of a practice day. Yesterday we kind of introduced the relationship and talked about how how division is just a reverse multiplication. And that relationship, we'll continue to discuss that today, but we're going to kind of be applying it a little bit more today into some practice problems, so it should be a little bit of a shorter video. And I do apologize, my cat is demanding attention right now, so he is on my lap, and if he gets on my paper, I will try to get him off as soon as possible, but I figured this was better than having him yell at me through the door through the whole video. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to be working again with the number 21, but I'd really like to challenge you as we go through this video, try not to use your multiple tower from yesterday's lesson, okay? We're gonna try and use our other strategies to find our answers in this, and then we can use our multiple tower maybe to check our answers, but we don't wanna rely on that because we're not gonna get used to having oh, there's the cat. On having a multiple tower for every number we have. So we're going to try and use these other strategies we know when we don't have a multiple tower with us. All right, so let's start with our first problem. What we're looking at here is, oh, stop, sorry. Kitty really wants to be on the paper. All right, so our problem is going to be 252 divided by 21. Sorry. There we go. All right, 252 divided by 21, we can do it this way, or we can do it like this. Some people might call this the division house. Lots of different names for it, but just two different ways of writing the same kind of division problem. All right, so when I have this problem, one of the options I can do that we had talked about earlier this week was I can take 252 and I can subtract 21 repeatedly, because remember division is repeated subtraction. So I can subtract 21 over and over and over again until I get down to 0, or whatever is closest to 0, and however many times I subtracted could be my answer. Right? However, if I just take away 21 and then minus 21 again and then minus 21 again, it's going to take me a long time. And I think I mentioned that in the first time we were introducing this. That is what's happening here, but using that strategy is probably going to be pretty time consuming. And we want to be efficient with our division so that we're not having to write out a ton of subtraction problems over and over again just to solve one division problem. So what we are going to do is we're going to look at what we know about 21 and try and get it into the number 252. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Instead of subtracting or thinking about how many times can I get 21 in here, if I can only get it in one time, I'm going to have a ton left over because 252 is way bigger than 21. So I know I'm going to be able to fit in quite a few groups of 21 into 252. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start out by looking at what I do know about my multiples of 21. I'm going to start with an easy one, which for me is always the tens. Let me think about 21 times 10. Okay, well, I know that 21 times 1, that's going to be 21, and then it's going to move over a place value. So it's 210. Okay, so 210, that is less than 252. So this number is going to fit in here, right? This is less than this one, so it's going to fit inside, which means I can have at least 10 groups of 21 that will fit in here. However, it's not quite up to this number, so I can even fit a few more. So here's what I'm going to do. I already put in 10 groups into this number, and I still have some left over because I know this number is not quite the same, or it's not up to this number. So what I'm going to do is subtract. I'm going to take my total, 252, and I'm going to subtract what total I just got, 210. Okay, now when I subtract that, 252 minus 210, I'm going to get, let's do my math over here. 252 minus 210. That's 2, that's 4, that's 0. All right, so 42. There's 42 left. Okay, now I know I can't put another group of 10 21s into 42. It's going to be way too big, right? I know 10 groups of 21 is 210. That's way more than 42. So that is not going to work for this one. I'm going to have to do a much smaller one. I could think about half of 10, which would be 5. So that would be half of this, half of 210. In my head, I know that's going to be 105. That's still too big. So I'm going to just try a much smaller number. I know 21 times 1 just by itself is going to be 21. I'm going to try and do 21 times 2. See what happens there. 21 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. Oh my goodness, look at that. I got the exact number that I was looking to fill. If I take 42, what I had left, and subtract what I just got, I'm going to have 0 left over, right? So what I did here was I multiplied 2 different groups times 21 to try and fill up the number 252. All right, I did 10 first, and that got me 210, and then I had 42 left over. So to get to 42, I just multiplied 21 times 2. So what I got was 10 groups of 21 plus 2 groups of 21. Total, I did 12 groups of 21. Okay, so my final answer to this problem is going to be 12. And since I had nothing left over, I ended with a 0. I have no remainder. It's just a straight up 12. Okay, now that I've solved this problem, I can check my power from yesterday, and I can make sure that I did this correctly. So I'm going to look for 21 times 12. Right there, 252. And that's what I started with. 252 divided by 21 equals 12. All right, so that one is correct. Now let's do the same thing, but we're going to do it with a word problem. All right, let's do this. There are 415 books in the library. It's actually way more than that, but for the sake of this problem, we're just going to do that. Okay, our librarian, Mrs. Tran, needs to put them on shelves. Each shelf, whoops, spelled shelf wrong. Ignore that, sorry. Each shelf holds 21 books. How many shelves will be completely filled? And how many books will be left over? All right, so there is our word problem. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to set up this problem to be our division problem. So our total, our dividend is right here, 415 books. And we are trying to divide it into shelves of 21. If shelves confuses you, you can think of it as groups. 415 into groups of 21. All right, I can also set this up like this. 415 divided by 21, okay? Same way of showing the same, or different ways of showing the same problem. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. Kind of similar to what I did last time, I'm gonna start out by using some multiples that I already know about 21, okay? This is a pretty big number, so I don't know off the top of my head what's gonna fit, or how many times 21 is going to fit into 415. However, I do know some other ones that might help me. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did before. I'm gonna start off with a group of 10, because 10s are easy for me to multiply. So I'm gonna do 21 times 10, and as I did before, I know that equals 210. All right, well, that didn't get to me to 415, but it definitely got some of it. Okay, so there's one group I did. Now I'm gonna see how much do I have left that I need to fill up with groups. So I'll take my total, 415, and take away what I just got, 210. All right, now 415, let me do that over here. 415 minus 210, all right, that's gonna be 5, 0, 2, 205. All right, so I have 205 left. Okay, now thinking about this, I just did 21 times 10 and I got 210. If I do times 10 again, I'm gonna be too high because this number right here is only 205. They're very close, but I only need to get up to 205. If I go over it, then I'm not gonna have anything left to divide. I can't go over what I have here. So I know I can't use 210, but what I could do is think of, well, I'm gonna need to get really close to this, but I need to be a little bit below. So what I'm gonna try and do is just go one less group, 21 times 9. So let me try 21 times 9. Now, don't use your multiple tower for this. Let's figure out how we could do this without using our multiple tower and without actually having to work out all that multiplication. We just figured out that 21 times 10 is 210, right? So I could take, I'll put it down here, 210 and just subtract one group of 21 from it, okay? Because this is one less group of 21 than this is. This is 10 groups of 21, this is 9 groups of 21. So if I take away one group of 21, then I can get my number here. So 210 minus 21, so let's work that one out. That's gonna become a 10, and that's 9. That's gonna become a 10. Oh wait, sorry, it's a 0, and then it becomes a 10. That becomes a 1. All right, 189. All right, so 21 times 9 is gonna be 189. I didn't do any multiplication to solve that. What I did is I took what I knew from 21 times 10 and subtracted a group of 21. And then I ended up with 189. All right. Okay, so I have 189 there. Now what I'm going to do is figure out how much I have left, because I know I did not get up to my total of 205. So I'm going to subtract and figure out what I have left over here. So I had 205, and I'm subtracting what I just got, which was 189. Okay, do another subtraction problem over here. 205 minus 189. All right, let's see. 5 is going to be 15. And this is going to be a 10. That's going to be a 1. All right, so that's going to, oh, going to take that one away, sorry. And 16. There we go. All right, so 205 minus 189 is going to be 16. So there's my leftovers here. Now, when I'm looking at this number, I need to check and see if I can get any more groups of 21 into this number. Okay, 21 into 16. 16 is less than 21. So I cannot fit a group of 21 into this number, okay? If I do, it's gonna split apart into a whole bunch of decimals and fractions, and we're not getting into that right now. So what I'm going to do is ignore this for a second. I'm going to look at what I did to get into my number 415. I multiplied by 10 first, and then I multiplied by 9. So altogether, I multiplied by 10 plus 9, which is 19. I did 21 times 19, and I got very close to 415, but I have some left over here. Okay, so my answer is going to be 19, but I'm not done because I didn't end with an even 0 number. I have some left over here. So my answer is going to be 19 with a remainder of 16. Okay, 16 is the remainder. It's what's left over. So there are 16 more books that will be on a separate shelf, maybe that's just not full. There will be 19 full shelves, but 16 left over that are not a full shelf. Okay, now when I'm looking at my remainder here, one thing I need to keep in mind is when I get a problem with a remainder, if I'm doing my math here and I end up with a remainder of 24, okay, so I have remainder 24 over here, and my divisor is 21. I can still fit one more group of 21 into that other remainder. So that means I'm not done yet. I still need to fit one more group in there. Okay, same with if I had a remainder of 23 or 22. I could still fit a full group into that remainder. So that means I'm not done. If I get to 20, my remainder was 20. So 21, can it fit into 20? No, it cannot. 20 is less than 21, so I cannot fit a full group into it. So the way you know that you are done and you don't have to do any more division is if your remainder is less than your divisor. Okay? If this number is still bigger, then that means I can still put another group in there. If it's smaller, then that means, okay, I can't fit any more groups of 21 into my remainder number anymore. All right, so I had 19 full groups and then 16 that were left over that couldn't make another full group. All right. Okay, so that's it for this lesson, friends. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you at our next live meeting.